Not yet.
It says it's streaming.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the April 1st meeting of the Hyde Park Planning Board. I want to first make note that this virtual meeting is being done under the auspices of Executive Order 202.1 by Governor Andrew Cuomo of the state of New York. And before we begin, I want to first thank my colleagues for their dedication in doing this meeting virtually. I also want to thank Supervisor Aileen Rohr and Deputy Supervisor Neil Krupnick for providing the technology for which we can continue to conduct the town business virtually. I also want to just point out for anyone who might be watching that you can go to our town website, hydeparkny.us, for the latest updates about what's going on around Town Hall, our closings. You can also find links to the county's websites dating to the coronavirus. Before I go on to kneel to pledge allegiance to the flag, may I first confirm from each one of you, and I'll call you individually, that you're alone and not under the duress of anyone near you. Ms. Weiser?
I am alone.
Ms. Wasser?
I am alone.
Mr. Pickett?
I am alone.
Mr. Oliver? Oops.
I am alone.
Thank you. Ms. DiNapoli?
I'm alone.
And Vice Chair Dexter?
I'm alone.
Can we please state the Pledge of Allegiance virtually?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
To the
republic for which it stands,
one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The first item on the agenda is a motion to consider approving the viewshed locations for the balloon test for a proposed 179-foot cell phone tower by Verizon to be located at roughly 113 South Quaker Lane. We had an initial memo from our consultant, our planning consultant, Ms. Axelson, that outlined a series of potential view sheds to look at the height of the balloon and see what the impacts would be to surrounding neighborhoods, homes, and properties. I'm delighted to tell you that a group of my colleagues and I drove out to look at additional sites as well as evaluate those sites. And there's an addendum to the March 4th memo from CPL or Liz Axelson that now gives a final listing. It's an A through P listing, with C having 6 streets located within the Greenfield subdivision. I know that everyone's had a chance to review them, take a look, but I'll call on each one of you to make sure that you're okay with it before we vote. Ms. Weiser, any additional changes or deletions you want to suggest?
No additional changes or deletions.
Ms. Wasser?
no changes.
Mr. Pickett?
No changes or deletions.
Mr. Oliver?
No changes.
Ms. DiNapoli?
No changes.
And Vice Chair Dexter?
No changes.
Mr. Oliver, may I get a motion to officially approve the viewshed locations for the balloon test and appoint the balloon? Thank you. The balloon test will take place this Saturday from 8 to about 2 p.m. Is there a second?
Second, and Dexter.
Thank you, Ms. Dexter. Ms. Whitman, will you call the roll, please?
Yes. Ms. Weiser?
Aye.
Ms. Wasser?
Yes.
Mr. Pickett?
Yes.
Mr. Oliver?
Yes.
Ms. DiNapoli?
Yes.
Vice Chair Dexter?
Yes.
Chairman Dupree?
Yes, absolutely. The motion carries unanimously. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is a site plan waiver sought by Louis DUTKOWSKI. The location is 27 Parker Avenue. We'll recall that the 27 Parker is in the scenic area statewide significance, established for any property which can be viewed from the river or one of the 2 historic sites, i.e. the Vanderbilt National Historic Site or the home of Franklin Delano Roosevelt. We have a recommendation from the zoning administrator, Ms. Moss, for a site plan waiver in this site. Their applicant's proposing to convert a garage to a recreation room and change the garage door to a picture window. I don't believe there's any comments on this, and I believe that Ms. Weiser, Ms. Wasser, you're going to read the resolution?
Yes, I am. Town of Hyde Park Planning Board, Louis DUTKOWSKI, 27 Parker Ave, site plan waiver, Town Code Section 108-9.4 C2. Resolution 2020-04. Whereas an application requesting a waiver of site plan has been made to the Town of Hyde Park Planning Board by Sean Lewis on March 10th, 2020, for property located 27 Parker Avenue in the Town of Hyde Park. And whereas, now therefore be it resolved that the Town of Hyde Park Planning Board hereby waives site plan requirements for the file entitled Louis DUTKOWSKI regarding the specific request as submitted March 11th, 2020, and in the building permit application filed dated March 9th, 2020 by Sean Lewis.
Second, Diane DiNapoli.
Ms. Whitman, will you call the roll, please?
Ms. Weiser,
Yes, aye.
Ms. Wasser,
Yes.
Mr. Pickett,
Yes.
Mr. Oliver,
Yes.
Ms. DiNapoli,
Yes.
Vice Chair Dexter,
yes,
Chairman Dupree.
Yes. The motion carried unanimously. Good luck to our neighbors on 27 Parker Avenue with their renovation. The next item on the agenda would be a motion to consider authorizing us to send comments to the town board relating to both number 1, local law C of 2020, and number 2, the design standards related to local law C. These standards would enact a new zoning district called the town core. The town core, this has been subjected to much analysis by the town board, as well as several public workshops where individuals across town were able to discuss their sort of hopes and dreams for what might happen in the center of town, in the economic heart of our community. We had a first letter that had 25 comments just on local law C. We also had a new letter that you all received today, and I want to thank you for individually replying to me, that you had a chance to read it and authorize it. I guess there's a small silver lining here, a tinfoil lining, I'll call it, to the fact that we're all stuck at home while we pause and self-quarantine. So I'll call on you individually. Are there any comments on either letter suggesting deletions, additions, or changes? Ms. Dexter?
none,
Ms. DiNapoli?
None.
Mr. Oliver?
No.
Mr. Pickett?
No.
Ms. Wasser?
No.
Ms. Weiser?
No additional comments.
Then before I ask for a motion to authorize me to send both letters to the town board, I want to first, again, thank all of you for taking the time to read what's a pretty lengthy set of comments in each case. I also want to thank sincerely our attorney, Ms. Polidoro, Ms. Moss, who participated in this as well, Ms. Axelson, who gave us some initial direction, as well as Ms. Weiser and Ms. DiNapoli, who participated in the phone call we had during this. So may I get a motion from Vice Chair Dexter to authorize me to send this over?
so moved,
Is there a second?
Second, Stephanie Wasser.
Ms. Whitman, can you call the roll, please?
Yes. Ms. Weiser,
Yes.
Ms. Wasser,
Yes.
Ms. Wasser. Gotcha. Mr. Pickett,
Yes. Yes.
Mr. Oliver,
Yes.
Ms. DiNapoli.
Yes, an additional comment, if I may. Mr. Dupree thanked everyone, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank him for his amazing job of writing it all up.
I second that.
Vice Chair Dexter
yes, and I agree also.
and Chairman Dupree.
Yes, and thank you for the kind words, but believe me, this was a labor of love by a big team, trust me, so thank you. The last item on the agenda tonight is the release of escrow for Bright Days. As a reminder, the applicants were seeking to open up a daycare center in the old Row building. Because of the Department of Health requirements, that didn't work out for her. I'm excited to tell you that it appears as though Ms. Sullivan, the proprietor, will be seeking another location in Hyde Park shortly to come before us for site plan review. In the meantime, I'm going to introduce resolution 20-A, dated April 1st, 2020, to release escrow in the sum of $3,083 for the planning board engineer and planner, and $1,964.50 for our planning board attorney. May I get a second?
Second, Ann Dexter.
Ms. Whitman, can you call the roll, please?
Yes. Ms. Weiser?
Yes.
Ms. Wasser?
Yes.
Mr. Oliver?
Yes.
Mr. Pickett?
Yes.
Ms. DiNapoli?
Yes.
Vice Chair Dexter?
Yes.
Chairman Dupree?
Yes. There being no other business, before we adjourn, again, thank you, colleagues, for your interest and desire to continue to move the business of the town forward. Also, for anyone who might be watching, we are going to be taking under advisement how often these meetings will occur. They will be noticed in advance. If at some point there is a pileup of information and applications before the board, I will expect that we will start to have workshop meetings done virtually like this to discuss new applications. But we're crossing our fingers that won't be necessary now, because there's really little purpose to us to be processing applications as long as there's a ban on non-essential construction, of which most of what we have here before us would be considered, except possibly the telecommunications towers. That being it, I want to thank everyone once again, remind everyone to stay safe, stay sane, stay physically separated as much as possible. And may I get a motion to adjourn from Mr. Pickett?
I make the motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second,
Second.
Ann Weiser?
Ms. Whitman, may you call the roll, please?
Yes. Ms. Weiser?
Yes.
Ms. Wasser?
Yes.
Mr. Pickett?
Yes.
Mr. Oliver?
Yes.
Ms. DiNapoli?
Yes.
Vice Chair Dexter?
Yes.
Chairman Dupree?
Yes. Thank you and good night.
Good night.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Neil.